So I had a woman call me on the phone, and I don't know this lady personally, hardly at all. As a matter of fact, I've talked to her a few times, and this is the first time she's ever been personal with me. But she has had an overeating problem, and she is a Christian. So she was telling me a little story. I think I was able to even wrap it up in greater depth. So I'm going to give you my deeper version, because it's not that we can't see Jabba the Hutt, demon of glutton, walk in the room and say, hey, you should overeat today. But God made us wonderfully and marvelously. We don't even understand how powerful our conscience is. And He's made us to be creatures of habit, to where we do the exact same thing when we wake up in the morning. We do the exact same thing when we go to bed. We get in a car and we don't think about turning the key. We don't think about pushing the gas. We don't think about turning. It's all habit. If you've ever learned how to drive, you don't have to think about it at all anymore, because of how God created us, right? He's created us in this really incredible way. So the lady's telling me a little story. She said, instead of just giving into the flesh, which what does the flesh do? When we give into the flesh, what's the devil's plan? To take away our good spirit, to steal Jesus from us by dulling us down. That's why my husband gave up pornography when he was very young, because he realized there was a deep cost. Not only do you not treat women as God's daughters, he realized it totally it was the devil's way of getting him to sell his good spirit. What will a man sell his soul for? So not only do I destroy God's daughters, God's creation, and buying into porn, every time a man looks at it, he's part of the destruction of that woman. So he was telling me this deep revelation even back then, Gene was, and because we don't see things the way they are. If we hide in the dark, we don't have the privilege of ever seeing things the way they really are. So back to the lady, I said, yeah, we don't see Jabba the Hutt walking in the room and saying, overeat, I'm trying to steal your good spirit and steal your relationship with Jesus. Whatever your problem is, shopping, whatever you use to deal with your pain or your emotion, or we can find 50,000 reasons to overeat, right? I usually do it when I get stressed out. I'm a fear eater if I get uneasy about what's going on. So it's still turning to the wrong comfort, and it's the devil's will, not about us outwardly. It's not even about us, who we are outwardly. It's about what it does to our spirit, which affects us emotionally. And then you start beating your husband when you overeat, right?
Yeah. Proverbs 23 talks about not giving in to that. And when you do, drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Your poverty shall come.
And in a sense, that's how you got so hard-hearted. I don't want to divert to that story, but
sure.
Betty has a really, really powerful story of being hard-hearted. We might just have to do that little one.
We can. Later.
So
it's fine.
So she's telling me what she did instead. So she's done it for like 6 months and she lost 30 pounds. What she did instead was she took a pause. Okay, I'm about to string today, because all we have is today, into tomorrow. And what am I stringing into my tomorrow? By what I'm doing right now. So she decided to take a pause, take a deep breath, and change that habitual just overeating thing, okay? So she's talking about habit right now, okay? And the power of changing your habit. So she's talking about getting up and going for a walk, playing with a dog, reading a book, cleaning the house, anything else but sitting there and overeating, that she did habitually for like 6 months. She lost 30 pounds. But then 6 months later, she got a phone call about her son's drug addiction. And she actually just wanted to curl up and die. The story was so awful and so bad and so heartbreaking. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. She was beside herself and wanted to just curl up and die. She was so overcome with grief. She got in the shower because she didn't want to just have a cold crying meltdown in front of everybody. And she cried her eyes out for about 15 minutes. She got out of the shower, she dried off, she got dressed, and she looked in the mirror and said, oh my God, I got free from habitually overeating because of emotion. She didn't give in. It wasn't even in her thinking to do anymore.
That's amazing.
She realized her own deliverance, really.
Yes.
Because addicts tend to have addicts for children. If
Yeah.
we don't understand the conscience,
Right.
we can't really teach our kids to understand that either. So I thought I'd tell that good story right now. It might help somebody too. Amen.